this is MadMapper 6.0 beta 3 version, and I will try to explain some stuff for people coming from MadMapper 5. And well, mostly there is a lot of confusion between the conductor and the timeline grid, and what's the difference between a timeline and a queue. So let's put some movie in there. So we have shown the montage track in the demo tutorial. So people have seen that and they think, okay, that's how MadMapper is done. It's not like a queue, because if I stop the time, or if I stop playback, it just stops playing my movie. My movie is related to the time of the timeline. So if I switch from this timeline where I use a montage track with this movie to another timeline, then it will restart the movie playback, and then I cannot have a smooth change like I had with queues. So let's clarify this. Let's remove those montage tracks. Let's start from a blank project. Up. So I'm showing actually the timeline grid. I can show it like the queue grid, where the default state was having large square cells or rectangular cells. Let's make a surface with some parameter, some visual like this, and I drag and drop my quad E. So it's like with the queues, I have all the parameters stored in the timeline. I can change the visual on my timeline, and I'm still using the visual from the media bin. I'm not doing a montage track to have a media specific to that timeline. So, okay. So now I can switch between the two, and I can try to make something different. Again, let's start timeline 2. And now I won't change the visual, I will change the color. Hop. And I store this here. So, okay, let's make some keyboard controls. Okay, I can start my timeline, and as you see, when I switch from timeline 2 to timeline 3, the visual is not restarting. I can select all my timelines and set a fade time of 1 second. Okay. Okay. So actually we can still use the timelines like we were using the queues in version 5. There is no reason to only use the montage tracks for people doing live. Mostly you will do the timelines, you will use the timelines as you were using queues, except that sometime you might want to add some timeline features, like if I want to have some animation here on the opacity, then I can do something like this. Okay, this is version. I can select this area, oops, create a clip, and then if I enlarge my clip, it will repeat it, and then I can still modify the curve inside the clip. So if I do something like this, now here, Bezier, hop, hop, okay. So now if I play this one, I can have this kind of effects for live. In a live, I can make loop, I can make it loop, and this can be applied to some lighting devices, not only for video. It can also, we can also put curves for any parameter of any thing, like lasers, video, DMX, or even some modules, Firmata, to control Arduino motors and stuff. So actually you can still use the timelines as we were using the queues. if you want to do something like a scene, then you have to right click, add to timeline all objects, and this will store everything like the scenes we are doing. So actually in this scene, I have all the parameter of all the visuals and all the layers in MadMapper. In the project, actually, the only difference with scenes in MadMapper 5 is that if I add a new layer now, let's put something like this. If I add a new layer and I start the old the timelines, it won't remove this layer, and the scene was doing that. So if I want to remove this layer from all my timelines, I can select all the timelines, choose this layer, and press the rec button and disable the layer. Now in all timelines, my layer is set to be invisible. So if I set it back on, it will disappear when starting any timeline. Okay, I hope it clarifies some stuff. Don't hesitate to post questions.